I'm a business coach and trainer. I typically work with small business owners and also small sales teams. And I work with some managers who are really effective, but sometimes also have challenging communication styles and help them really moderate those styles. And I've been doing this for 24 years, love it. And I also, little information about me personally. I've got 4 kids, 4 adult kids, 4 grandkids, and I've been married now for 32 years. So
All right. So, what are your highlights of the 24 years as a top business coach?
huh. It's a hard question. There have been a lot of great successes. I think one great success was I was working with a lady who she was working a job full time. She enjoyed the job, but really wanted to start her own company. And I helped her get that company started. And now she probably has income of 5 times what she was making when she
Oh, wow.
was doing her own thing, yet her hours are about a third of what she was working. So she makes about 5 times the income, but then it's 20% of her previous work hours. So pretty exciting.
Do you still keep in contact with her?
Oh yeah, we still do coaching. Yeah, yes. Yeah,
That's
she's
good.
amazing. So that was a great example, great experience. Also worked with some mortgage brokers, a sales team, and they tripled their sales in a couple of years. Worked with a lot of those individuals, helped them with accountability, helped them with sales training, improve some of their processes, and saw a real difference. So that would be another highlight. And a third highlight I would say is, and this is the normal kind of highlight. It's being a sounding board for small business owners. So many times I've had clients who said, "Oh man, I'm in this difficult situation." And we talked through the situation and helped that individual make a better decision. So
All
those
right.
are 3 examples.
Sounds very fulfilling.
It's fantastic. It's great business. I'm very, very fortunate.
All right. So, what do you think holds people back a lot of the times?
You know, I'd say laziness can hold a lot of people back, and laziness can really be described as procrastination. Many people procrastinate, and what can happen is we say, "Well, I'll do this trivial kind of activity instead of the really hard, difficult activity," and it's normal. And so I think, "Oh, hey, well, I'm working on this, and this. It's okay." And I'll get to the difficult thing tomorrow. And we do this over and over and over again. And so what happens is those difficult things are typically the activities that help us get the most progress and have the most success. And when we delay those, that becomes a big problem for us.
Is there something common that people do when they're not confident?
I think a lot of people struggle with imposter syndrome. And so I think when people are not confident, many times they don't take on challenges that they should be able to take on. And they might fail, but they shy away from doing things that would really help their business.
Mm.
And instead they say, "Well, you know, my name's Ryder, and maybe someone else can do this really difficult thing. You know what? I better just hold back and stuff." And so it's really painful to watch that. And so the thought is, hey, let's embrace failure, let's embrace rejection, do those hurt things, have the difficult conversation, and many times things are much, much better.
Okay. And what does confidence mean to you?
Confidence, it is fulfilling your potential. So confidence to me means doing what you were born to do. And smiling doesn't mean you're not scared, doesn't mean that you don't have nervousness, but it's saying, I'm confident that I'm working on something that I know I can be fulfilled with, and I know it can help many people with. So that's what confidence means to me.
Do you think that fake it till you make it, does it work?
Yes, yes, I do believe fake it till you make it works. I've seen it over and over again. People who say, "You know what? Hey, I'm going to just go forward. I'm going to move forward." Almost nobody knows. Almost nobody knows that you're not quite qualified, you haven't done this before, you haven't, you're you're not as good as you might make yourself out to be. There's a story. Shoot, I hope I'm saying the right person. I run some business book groups, and I read this about this guy who said, "Oh, I can be a bond trader. I can be a trader on Wall Street." And he met this guy in a taxi cab, talked about how he could do this bond trading. In actuality, he didn't know anything about bond trading. And then he went on to become the CEO and managing partner of Goldman Sachs. And so that's how he got his start. And so he faked it till he made it and did a good job, worked hard, but certainly was pushing himself to be effective. That is also similar to Steven Spielberg. I don't know if you've heard of this story where he started out working because he would take a tour of one of the studios in Hollywood and just started sitting in an office and started writing things, and people said, "Oh wow, this is really effective," and stuff. But nobody had actually hired him. He just snuck off the tour and then went to his office. And so that's how Steven Spielberg got his start. And obviously one of the greatest producers in history, in US history. So yes, I do believe him.
So what would you say is the difference between confidence and arrogance?
So I think of confidence as you're comfortable in your own skin, you're comfortable in what you're doing, but I see it as service oriented. When I'm confident, trying to do a great job to help you. Arrogant, I see as I'm comfortable in what I'm doing, but I want to impress you. So confident is I'm trying to serve you, arrogant is I'm trying to impress you. And impress you. So the arrogance is for my own benefit, prestige. Confidence is to be service oriented and to help people.
Do you have like a particular example of them?
I don't have a particular example, and in some ways, you see it. I see it when you recognize it when you see it. I think it is when people, I think especially with social media, when people want to get likes, get heard, get noticed. And so much of it is, hey, it's about me.
Yeah. Okay. So, as a public speaker, I'm sure you tend to feel nerves either before or
Sure.
after it. So, how do you set yourself up to beat those nerves?
Sure. A few tricks. First trick, I think, is I always feel like exercising can help you get the dopamine rush and such, just to calm, lessen anxiety. Everyone has anxiety, and I'm not recommending for people to exercise who should not exercise. I'm not your doctor. Uh, but for most people, they can exercise, and that can lessen the stress, just overall stress. So that's a general point. The second point, and to be more specific, is and goes back to confidence versus arrogance. In a presentation, the idea to say, I can feel nervous if I think about myself. Well, my shirt isn't as nice as it could be, or my volume isn't as good, or I should change my hair, or a million different things. If I'm thinking about myself, I easily can get nervous. If I think about you, I really want to help Ryder learn X. If I want to help you teach you about Y, if I want to persuade you about Z, then I think about you. Hey, is this message connecting with you? And so the more I'm focused on the other person, the less nervous I become. So that's a second technique. A third technique I think is really, really critical is involving the audience. So having breakout sessions, asking questions, involving the audience, then takes some of the pressure off of you. When the audience is speaking, you typically shouldn't be that nervous. And you have a chance to check your notes, lower your pulse, lower your heart rate, so you can say, ah, actually breathe. And so you regain some of your strength when you're asking questions, when you're getting input from others. So those are three small tips I've seen be very, very successful. A fourth one really is it's practice, 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 and especially in front of people who might be intimidating. If you can practice, give a presentation, someone who is intimidating, you're going to be fine on game day.
Alrighty. Um, so what are some of the myths about confidence that people tend to fall onto?
I think one of the myths is, Ryder can be confident. She's always been born confident. It's in your DNA. And so this person or that person, he or she can do it, but I can't. And so I think that is a big myth is it's born, it's not made. Uh, I also think it's a myth to say, oh, everyone else doesn't get nervous. It's just me who gets nervous. I read about an author, I'm forgetting her last name. It's Mel something.
Mel
She,
Brooks?
uh, not the actor. It's
Oh
an
no, not Mel Brooks.
author. She
Um,
wrote the High Five book, I believe.
Mel Robbins. Yep.
Mel Robbins, sorry. Mel Robbins. And she said something really empowering, but also somewhat depressing, which is she presents to groups, 10,000 people. She's a paid public speaker. She's a professional. And still many times she gets nervous. And so when I think about that, I think, well, if she gets nervous, why can't I get nervous?
Mm-hmm.
Because what can happen is you start a speech and your hands get sweaty and your heart races and you fumble on your words, all normal stuff. And then you think to yourself, well, it's only me. I'm the only one who gets nervous. Everyone else, they're just smooth as can be. And that's not true. Everybody gets nervous. Yes, some people get less nervous than others. That's fine. But most people get nervous. And so then, if we experience nervousness as a speaker, then we say, oh, well, that's natural. I care. And then once you decide, yeah, I am a little nervous, and say that's okay, then you can move forward. And so that doesn't become another item that causes nervousness.
Okay. Um, I know this question is not on here, but would you
Okay.
say that nervousness and excitement are one and the same? Like the same feeling?
I have not thought about it that way. I don't think so. I think of excitement as more positive and nervousness is more negative.
Mm-hmm.
It might feel somewhat similar. So I'll give you an example. As a kid on Christmas morning, I was excited about the toys and the great food and everything. And my palms weren't sweaty and my heart rate wasn't high. And it's just like, oh, I can't wait to get going. And I wasn't thinking about anyone else and looking out, etc. Whereas nervousness, I think, can be more, wow, if I don't give a great presentation, I might get fired from my job.
Mm.
If I don't give a great presentation, I might not get promoted. If I don't get a presentation, I'm not going to get that big sale. I'm presenting to this group and I'm not going to win. And so I'm nervous because I feel this pressure. Whereas excitement, I don't necessarily feel that same, I don't feel like there's that same level of pressure. So
Okay.
I see them differently. There may be some similarities, but I see them differently.
All right. What is your favorite quote?
You know, I love the quote, where there is no vision, the people perish. And so I think it's just vision is so important to say, where am I going? One of the things that we all learn as we learn how to drive a car is don't look right in front of the bumper. You
Hmm.
look out. So if you look right down the bumper, you're erratic. But if you look out, you're clear-eyed and you drive fairly straightly, fairly straight. And so trying to think, where am I going? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to do today that's helping me for my future? So I think having a clear vision is really important.
All right. And do you happen to know where that quote was from? Or do you remember where it was from?
I I believe it's from Proverbs, I believe. Uh, but I don't recall exactly, but I think it's from Proverbs.
Alrighty. So, what was your impetus to work with law?
Oh, she's so energetic and fun and exciting, has so much positive energy. You can really feel her warmth and her kindness and belief in achievement. So I think she's a fantastic partner, an amazing woman, very obviously very successful, very thoughtful, very kind. So those are the reasons.
All right. And speaking of law, how about you tell us about your event with law this upcoming
Yeah,
week?
yeah, I'm excited. We are gonna have this training, this live event about difficult conversations. So often we all face difficult conversations typically that we avoid, that we should engage in. And so I think about this and I think, so how do I have a tough conversation with an employee? How do I ensure fairness with a vendor? How do I set my boundaries with a customer? They're all how am I firm with a spouse? So there are all kinds of different difficult conversations we face, and we're going to speak about some principles to be able to help people in on the call. So I'm excited about it. There's some great content, real a lot of fun. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to have fun. We're going to role play, and we're all going to improve together.
Sounds like fun. Anything else you'd like to share?
I don't think so. It's been a real pleasure talking with you, Ryder. I really enjoy working with Law. She's a fantastic lady, a consummate professional. And goes back to the quote. She really has a vision for trying to improve so many people. So I'm excited to work with her.
I'm excited for you both. So where can people find you?
You can go to coachingsolutions.com and or you can Google coaching solutions. And that's my company's in Sugar and Falls, Ohio. It's a cute little village of about 5,000 people in northeastern Ohio. And we love it here. And so, yeah, people can see, I think I've got 128 Google reviews now. And
Wow.
some great ratings, some very kind people work with me.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for your time, David. It was such a pleasure.
It was my pleasure, Ryder. Have a great day. Enjoy
You
this
too.
weekend and really good talking with you.